Hey, welcome to another video from the Outdoor Analyst. Today I've got a fun one for you. This is going to be pretty much a mid-year review of some of my favorite knives that I've picked up for the year. And I figured it's just about Independence Day. So I guess it's a little over half the year, but I just wanted to go through some of my favorite knives so far. This is by no means a close amount of the ones I've picked up or I've traded off and sold a whole bunch just to, if something isn't really awesome, I'm not going to keep it around. But I figured I'd just start off with one of the coolest little knives that I have picked up. And I guess it's not so little. This is the Reeve green Beret, I think 7-inch. And I've heard a lot about Reeve fixed blades for a very long time. This one's in 4V, and it's finally a steel that I was really interested in a knife that's this size. And a 7-inch knife, you think of this thing as basically, in my mind, this is just a way better K-bar. I've used lots of K-bars in the past. I still have old school Camillus from, I think, late World War II. Very, very cool. If you didn't know, Camillus made way more of those, what are they, Mark 1s? Whatever. That basically the K-bars than K-bar ever did back in the day. Not anymore, but this is an improved version of it in my mind. It's a little bit stouter and with 4V, obviously way better steel. A little more just ergonomic all around, even though it has these annoying finger grooves. They're not really super annoying, really good to choke up on. This is just, it's a knife that surprised me, and I think that's why it made it into my top 5. I really wanted the Pacific, but I haven't been able to get a Pacific in 4V, so when I saw this, I just kind of jumped on it. And honestly, it's been fantastic. Sheath, unfortunately, this is the main downfall, and I'll probably do a review at some point. The sheath sucks. It's a terrible nylon and moly sheath, whoop-de-doo. But anyway, number 5, really cool knife. Was very impressed with the ergos. Just the fit and finish on this is immaculate. It really is. You can tell that it is just next level. The chamfering absolutely everywhere that matters. It was well thought out. Just a really, really cool knife. And it takes my top 5, or my number 5. I think the 4th favorite was, I really wanted to kind of get more into some ESEE knives. And this is probably one of my favorites of all time, honestly. This is the ESEE 3, but this is the RB3. So this is the only Scandi knife that I know of that they do. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe they have other Scandis, but this is the Scandi knife that got me intrigued. It has a really pretty good ergonomic handle to it. If I'm not mistaken, LT Wright actually does all the handles for this line, or they did. I don't know if this line's still going through. They might have been discontinued, but this is a really, really cool knife. I made some fires with it already, had it around, and honestly, for the first month, I couldn't get this thing out of my hands. It was just always with me, sitting with me, hanging out in the backyard, getting fires prepped. Like, this thing was awesome. It's probably only number 4 just because it's $10.95, and in a Scandi, and I even said this about 3V, Scandi really puts a lot of stress on such a thin edge when it gets down that thin. And $10.95, this kind of is a bit chippy, or a bit rolly, I should say, not chippy. It's rolled on me a few times just doing basic fire, just firecraft. So, not great, but it's not awful because it's $10.95, so it comes out in like a heartbeat. So I guess it kind of has its pros and cons. And I was really up on $10.95 just kind of lately because it is so easy to deal with. But then again, in a Scandi knife, it may not be perfect just because, it takes a lot of stress when it is just down there at roughly a 0 bevel. It's probably a little bit convex now after I've dealt with it, but still mostly a Scandi. Scandi facts, we'll call it that. But this thing is super comfy. It's not the most comfortable. I have its competition as is coming. But for a really small, I need to get some, kindling and some feather sticks made, it's really, really cool. And for, $100-ish, it's an awesome choice. So number 4 this year, this one, it hit the list. It's good. Let's just say for $100, it had some insane competition, and it's done incredibly well. Number 3, this one's gonna be tough. I guess I really haven't ranked these. I just kind of pulled out my favorites out of all of them. When I pulled them out, it's like, yeah, these are definitely the ones that get me excited. All right, it's gonna be this one. It's gonna be an LT Wright. It's the LT Wright Pronghorn. This knife is tiny. Don't let anything fool you. You know, here's a can, 12-ounce can. This thing's really small. It's really, really small. I mean, in my hand, I'm pretty sure I can. Oh yeah, I can definitely, you know, put it in the palm of my hand, no problem. Tiny, tiny, tiny knife. Take a sip here. Yingling for the win. Oldest beer in America. Really, really cool. Anyway, LT Wright Pronghorn in 3V. I have skipped out on these for years. I've always said I'm gonna get one. And they're gone, you know, after they're on the website for a day, no matter where you get them from. And this time, I finally just snagged it. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I'm just gonna bite the bullet. And this became like my new backpacking knife. This thing is amazing. Super light, super small. It's pretty much nothing you really can't do with this. I mean, even though it's a Scandi, I mean, for, you know, squirrels, rabbits, just deep Hansen, absolutely amazing. If you had to field dress a deer, honestly, I would have no problems with this. I wish it would have some sort of guard there or jumping to just kind of know when you're in there, but the size of it's perfect. And the way they've done this little, oh gosh, what do they call those? I don't know. They chamfer it in, you get those little shelves in there. Oh, I love it. Just absolutely love it. This knife has been on a few trips. Started quite a few little fires with this thing, and it has a solid spot at number 3, and it's taken over my backpacking knife. Like, that says something. That's pretty darn cool. And with the competition that's out there, this thing is, man, it takes the cake. LT Wright, great fit and finish. Oh, just absolutely love this little thing. And I'm never usually into small knives that much, but for some reason, scallops. Okay, the scallops on this are just perfect. So anyway, there we go. Number 3, LT Wright Pronghorn in 3V. Such a cool, tiny little package. You can throw this in the pocket, throw it wherever, and just take it with you. Okay, that makes number 2 pretty easy. Number 2 is actually my newest pickup, but I've had this knife multiple times, and it is actually another LT Wright. It is the Jesmik C, and does that ironwood look amazing. I love the big brother, the Jesmik from LT Wright. This is an AEBL. My other Jesmik is in 3V. I've had several of those. I kept the lightest weight one in burlap. And then I had a G10 one of this Jesmik C, and it was really heavy. Originally, this was, my first thought for the Jesmik C was a backpacking knife back in the day. And I got it in thinking, oh, for backpacking, you know, all I do is a little bit of firewood and then just opening up packages, and it'd be perfect. The G10 version of this is very heavy. I mean, it's a thick handle. So just know it is really amazing ergonomics for firewood. I mean, for just making fires, even with these great little scallops in there. You know, just food prep, pretty cool. Could you do animal work? Yes, it's a little tall for me. I don't like tall blades, especially for like whitetails, but technically this is a small knife, so it's not like super tall, but you know, there are some things you have to do when you're cutting around the back end that this just wouldn't do great for, but it could totally do it. So could field dress, but not going to. This is a great little fire knife, and my goodness, is it beautiful. It blew me away. When I saw it, I said, oh, for the price, I've got to have this thing. Now, AEBL I have found to be a little chippy. It is a very tough stainless steel, but it's actually chippy. This one I haven't had any issues with, but my last one, it was a little bit chippy. Now it's just kind of like, I think there's a little bit of edge damage on there. I've only made a few fires with it, but you know, it's AEBL, it's easy to take care of. It's just such a cool knife. It's one of the most ergonomic small knives out there. Oof, it's just so comfy. I'm a big fan. And the scallops on this thing are just perfect. This is a solid number 2 spot. It really wasn't even a question. It's up there in the top 5. Not even thinking about it. It's much lighter than my older version of the G10. This is just, the desert ironwood is really nice. Super ergonomic. It's so tiny, but great for feather sticks. So, love this knife. Highly recommend them. It's kind of like the unknown LT Wright out there, but Goodness gracious, look at that thing. It's just so good looking. I had to do it. Okay, anyway, great knife. Number 2. So what's my number 1? Honestly, it hasn't changed. I've been still more hyped about this knife than I thought I ever would. It is the Winkler belt knife. Yeah, I've done a video on this one already. This knife is just incredible. I still come back to it all the time. And it is rare because it's not generally under kind of my forte of knives that I normally go for. But it is just super fun to have around. It's super fun to take out with me when I'm hitting the backyard and when I'm hitting the property. This thing is just, man, amazing to have on you. And I carry it more than I ever thought I would. This is a big knife to carry, but the sheath on it is so darn good. And I hate knives that sit up high. You know, I got some love handles, man. And it really does kind of jack with you, just depending where you put it, but it conceals incredibly well. And that's what I love about this knife. I can just pop it on the belt. For the most part, my t-shirt covers this thing. It only sits down, you know, that much lower, so it is not bad on the belt whatsoever. And love it. I just absolutely love it. It's one of the coolest packages out there. It's by far my favorite knife of the year. We're just about 7 months in here. And without a doubt, I think it'll probably stay my favorite knife of the year. It'll be really hard to dethrone it. We'll see what happens, but I guess I could pull these back out. So we'll pull it out the 5th up here. Let's see if we can get these all in frame. I'm pretty sure we can. But yeah, really diverse knives this year for me. Kind of branched out. I had a bunch of really big Bowies and ended up selling quite a few of those just because they just didn't hit the mark for me. This year, I guess I've kind of gone for the smaller end. I enjoy just making fires and doing simple things and then taking a big Bowie to split wood or a little hatchet. So yeah, there we are. Top 5 of the year so far. Got a Winkler belt knife, LT Wright Jesmik C, LT Wright Pronghorn, ESEE RB3, and then a Chris Reeve, Green Beret 7. What a cool combo. And boy, pretty diverse. Gotta say I love it. We'll see how far this list goes. It might change up quite a bit by the end of the year, so I'll probably do a Christmas video when I get some more time at the end of the year, and yeah, we'll see how it progresses. Happy shopping. Feel free to pick any of these up if you can find them. They are fantastic, especially the biggest surprise, Chris Reeve, ESEE RB3. These two I just knew would be great. I guess probably the 3rd surprise would be this one. I just didn't think I would like this blade shape and handle just so much. Oof. But anyway, big shockers, really cool. Just classic goodness right there. Anyway, have a fantastic day. The 4th is coming up. Have a happy 4th. Keep your fingers and have a fun time with family and friends. See you on the next one.